So I'm here with Kasian Franks from SpaceBioSciences, and we're here today to talk about decentralized science and where that fits into space bio. So Kasian, could you tell us a little bit more about space bio, how that works and what's involved in it, and then we can dig into where that fits into decentralization.
Sure. First, I'd like to mention that our team got our start at Genentech, and then we went into bioinformatics, and then we were invited to Lawrence Berkeley National Lab to work on space biosciences. So a lot of people ask, well, what is space biosciences? Well, it's the ability to create countermeasures against diseases that result from stressors during human spaceflight. A countermeasure might be a repurposed drug compound, or a drug cocktail, or a nutrigenomic drug cocktail, or some environmental factor. Or it might be related to maybe a multi-omic profile of that astronaut, for example. So we look at solutions that are related to countermeasures as maybe looking at all the FDA-approved drugs on, let's say, drugbank.com, right? Drugbank.ca, I think it is. But that's one of our partners, and we leverage their entire, they've got about 10,000 pharmaceuticals and about 7,400 FDA-approved drug compound profiles, very rich profiles. So we apply language modeling to that. Anyway, that relates to creating countermeasures that are fighting against these stressors. And the stressors, microgravity. Scott Kelly lost 30% of his heart when he was in space for about a year. Wow. 30% of his heart muscle mass. And his bones, the density in his bones also degraded over time. So creating therapeutics, let's say, that target those kinds of issues with astronauts, and maybe billionaires. It just doesn't apply to them, though. It applies to everybody on the ground in terms of, or let's say, new forms of precision medicine.
And so those kinds of therapeutics, are they, like, as you said, they're already FDA approved, so are you, do you have the same kind of clinical trials and barriers to entry as other medicines?
That's a very good question, because if we did de novo drug development, building a drug compound from the molecule up, right? That would, we would have to enter all kinds of, clinical trials, and that would take 10 years.
Yeah.
So we're more focused on the repurposing of drug compounds, which can be done in, a variety of ways, based on combining, and using language modeling too, but based on combining data related to phytochemicals and micronutrients, for example, bioactive micronutrients. And then environmental factors, in addition to, maybe their disposition toward a disease, and looking at not just their genomic profile, but their epigenomic profile, their microbiomic profile, and the list goes on. Transcriptomic, their inflammasome, all these omics, you might say, related to someone, so that you can really hone in on the precision medicine angle.
Interesting. And so, how does decentralization fit into all of that? And how do you think about leveraging the principles of decentralization and blockchain to support the work that you're doing?
Right. Well, first, we always like to point out that one of the biggest problems in science is the fact that discoveries are made too slowly, and scientific progress is too slow. So one way to speed that up is taking a DeSci approach to things and connecting it to an open science approach to things. So being able to create attribution for the original author on chain, for example, is going to be extremely important before they embark on this open science journey, right? So that, theft is a real thing in academia, just as it is in industry, right? So you want to be able to make sure that you get proper attribution, and make sure that, whether it's credit that you want, or recognition, or at least, the fact that, you might be the best at doing this because, you kind of invented it, So all that stuff needs to be locked on chain. So we look at it, DeSci approach as, being able to track and trace and provide data set security, data set provenance back to the original author, for example.
Okay, interesting. And so what does that look like practically for SpaceBioSciences right now?
Well, right now, let's say that you wanted to use our what we call our relationship networker. That's a system that allows you to see hidden relationships between proteins, for example, in a given context. You could actually purchase SBio, and we would look at how much SBio that you had, and you'd have access to these services, for example. So that's in its most simple form.
Yeah.
But we also have another token, a utility token, as a subsidiary, because SpaceBioSciences is the parent company of Space AI, or VXV.
Yeah.
So we use VXV to track and trace and provide data provenance and security, because data sets power all of AI today.
Yeah.
I'm talking about structured matrix-style data sets. You know, they power all of AI. That's how you kind of feed everything into an AI system, is based on this data set.
Yeah.
So if that data set gets compromised by a malicious actor, you want to know that it's been compromised. So on-chain is the best way for immutability. So we're interested in providing our customers with that and leveraging it ourselves.
And so if somebody wants to get involved with Vector Space, how can they do so? And what avenues do you have for collaborations and et cetera?
Well, we're always looking for anyone in the area or scientific discipline of biology, of course, or computational biology.
Yeah.
Biology, most people don't really understand how complex biology is. For example, we have a partner at IFO Rome, a collaborator, and she has been working at, this is Paola Nestico. She's the Italian Minister of Health in Italy. And she and her collaborator have been working on just HMENA, that's a protein, for the last 30 years. That's it, all the relationships around that and the pathways and everything. So we want to kind of enable a group like that to monetize what they're doing too, with SBio and VXV, and protect their data at the same time.
Yeah. And so in engaging with researchers and academic partners, like how do you find that relationship? Are there any barriers there for people working with you guys and accepting and embracing the principles of decentralized science?
No, for us, there's not. We've been in crypto since 2013, so we've been navigating these crazy waters for quite some time and adapting, and that's what it takes, right? So I don't think we have any issue moving forward. Really.
And what's next for Vector SpaceBioSciences?
Well, we will launch our first CubeSat in about 8 months.
Awesome.
And that will likely be sponsored by some of our partners like NVIDIA or Oracle or Morningstar. So we'll see. Yeah. But once we get on that launch calendar, it's away we go. I can tell you that.
Nice.
And that's with SBIO and VXV.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. And so what experiments are you running up there, if you can talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So tardigrades. Have you heard of what a tardigrade is? A water bear, right? And they're about the size of 6 human hairs, in length. And they just happen to repair their DNA 2,000 times faster than humans. So we need to look into that, And we also know that when Scott Kelly spent a year in space, something very strange happened. His telomeres increased in length as opposed to decreased in length. Everybody on the ground, we're decreasing in length, while he has his increase in length. But NASA lost the data, and nobody knows why now a human's telomeres actually increase. And just for the for your audience, a telomere is like a cap on the end of a chromosome, and if it gets after a cell divides, it gets a little more frayed and a little more frayed after each cell division. So, and that's kind of why we age. So if we can prevent that from happening, that's, one thing we need to do. Yeah. Right. Interesting. So understanding how a tardigrade repairs their DNA, and then, understanding how we can pretty much slow aging down. Super exciting. Where can we learn more about Vector Space? Well, you can go to our website. That's really the best place. Yeah. We are a startup, and our website is vectorspacebio.science. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kasian. It's been an absolute pleasure. Sure thing. Oh, and if you scroll down to the bottom of our site, you'll see our socials. Yeah. Cool. If you'd like to learn more about decentralized science or be a part of this community, then head on over to deci.london or follow us on socials.